The map is live, so let's jump right into it. Game number 2 in the best of 5. Here at the ASUS ROG 2014, we have Apocalypse going up against Deer, and the Protoss player starting here at the bottom of the map on Heavy Rain finds himself in a 1-0 lead in the best of 5 series already after defending against the aggression of the Terran player on Polar Knight. And said Terran player, of course, spawning to the top of the map now in red for IVD Gaming. It is Apocalypse with great games against Protoss yesterday in the first and also the second group stage at the ASUS ROG. Can he do it again against Deer? It's going to be tough. It's going to be the most difficult thing for him so far. Deer is a great opponent to face, such a tough opponent to go up against, but maybe the Terran player has a chance here. And always keep in mind that one Terran player that's definitely going to watch this series right now is 4GG, who knows that he might go up against Deer in the semifinal if the Protoss player is able to edge out a victory.
Yeah, and he's definitely looking at this series if he knows what's good for him. And what he's seeing in this second map, he's seeing that Deer is doing a 12 gate into 12 assimilator. And what that means is that Deer created a space where he wasn't creating probes for a while, instead favoring a quick gateway and a very quick gas. And what that means is that he's sacrificing pure economy to get quicker warp gate out and a quick zealot stalker mothership core aggression most likely. So what that's going to do is that if Apocalypse goes a Reaper and then gets his reactor, if his Reaper control and his reaction immediately making a bunker at the natural isn't perfect, he could just straight up lose the game. Deer's control, of course, is phenomenal. So let's see what's going to happen. We should be seeing a Zealot start up very soon here. And as soon as that Cybernetics core finishes, a Mothership core and Stalker at the same time, chrono boosted out. And it will be up to Apocalypse to identify what's going on here.
Do you think with what we've seen from Apocalypse so far, he will be able to have the correct response against Deer's aggression?
I know that his Reaper control is very good, but if you aren't used to defending this build, you could just be in a very bad spot. I've won a lot of games with this build outright. So let's see, there we go with the chrono boost on the Mothership core. Stalker will follow. Warp gate will be delayed momentarily. This is going to be a very exciting game. Engineering Bay is totally not the correct response. Look at Deer's minerals. He's not looking to get a Nexus now.
Yeah.
He's just faking out as if he wants it there with the Zealot.
And one of the things is really that with the Zealot already on the map, that Engineering Bay wouldn't have done a whole lot of delay anyway. So if you skip the Zealot and you go straight into the Stalker, it's very annoying to go up against one of those blocks with an Engineering Bay at the natural. But as you already said, that doesn't even come into play here. We have the Reaper still alive, trying to move out there, sees that probe, of course, and the Stalker might be just barely not able to get the last kill.
Them slippery eel Reapers. So what's happening here is that Apocalypse apparently has shown himself to be unaware of the timing of the builds. He hasn't clicked the gas, hasn't recognized that what Deer is doing. He's clearly unfamiliar with this build. And Deer, because he realized that Apocalypse isn't aware of it, he pretended to want to take a Nexus immediately. Actually, his Nexus is a minute later than what we usually see. Now he's moving forward. The bunker isn't finished. The bunker should be started immediately once he saw the timings. And because it isn't, the Stalker can come in, potentially kill the SCV, and I'm a little surprised he isn't, but instead he's working on the Marines. I'm surprised by that. He missed an opportunity there to stop the bunker from going up, but still with Time Warp will take down another Marine.
Takes another Marine and walks up that ramp with a Zealot once more, working at one of the supply depots. Can actually take down a few of the SCVs here.
Wow.
A bit of a lack of unit control by Apocalypse, losing 2 in the process. And we have back at home a Stargate coming up for Deer, who's still being very aggressive here at the front. A Reaper, on the other hand, getting another kill on the probes. So in total, if you look at the Harvesters, lost 2 for both sides.
This Mothership core can take down a lot of Marines as long as they keep fighting single file. And because she parked herself over the barracks, that's exactly what's going to happen. Taking down those few Marines near the bunker means she's going to have a field day here in the base. She's finally going to get chased away by Marines, but she will take down one more. And if she gets away with her life, that's a great result for Deer, and that's exactly what's happening.
And Apocalypse just in the last second able to save that supply depot, which was about to go down. Now even the supply depot lowered one of them, and the Zealot goes in, but of course dies to the overwhelming amount of Marines that we see there. The question more being, how much damage is Deer now going to do with that Oracle that is the follow-up for the Protoss player?
Yeah, it's very ideal to do that much damage with the Mothership core and then not losing it when you're doing an Oracle follow-up, because the Marine count has been severely reduced. And the amount of damage that Apocalypse can take and still be okay with it is at a much smaller point now. So anything the Oracle does is going to really compound Apocalypse's economic troubles.
It's also going to be much more difficult for Apocalypse to really spread his Marines and defend the main base and the natural, which is one of the reasons why we now see the double missile turret also going down, since he really needs something to protect the SCVs here at the mineral line. But Oracle can always try to find that sweet spot where you're just outside of the range and you can still kill 1 or 2 harvesters. And Dia back at home is just building more and more gateways. He has a very, very aggressive stance here against Apocalypse.
So this is going to be an all-in. He keeps queuing up those oracles, cancels that pylon, and will try to make it somewhere else. Not sure if that's going to change his plans. It is very good for Apocalypse he has those turrets. In the midst of all the harass that Deer did early on, the Reaper did go in, he didn't lose it early, and he saw the Stargate. That's why he was so well prepared. But what he didn't see is the amount of gateways being added after this. Will he expand a scan on Deer's base? Because he's going to warp in a whole bunch of stuff. And we need more bunkers from Apocalypse at the front.
He builds one now. He's getting an additional bunker, but I don't think he realizes how much Dia already has. The Protoss play is starting to move in right now. We have him already on 27 army supply. There are the 2 oracles in the main base, once again distracting Apocalypse, putting his attention into the main, even pulling all of the Marines into the main base, and that is a really good position for Dia to have. If he walks in at the front right now, there is very little to defend this wall.
Very cutthroat strategy here by Deer. Apocalypse has to do everything right if he just wants to live to see another day. SCVs are in place. It looks pretty good for Apocalypse, but the numbers are on Deer's side because of all the early damage. Mothership core goes down, the bunker gets out repaired, the oracles are down.
Wow.
A great defense by Apocalypse.
Apocalypse sniping those 2 oracles, immediately getting the Mothership core as well, and it was so close. The Protoss player was just seconds away of taking down the bunker, but the mass repair by the SCVs that keeps Apocalypse in the game and the bunker alive. With only 1, he would probably not have had enough, but as is the Protoss player, just barely not able to break through the defenses of his Terran opponent. He's still looking at 2 bases with 47 harvesters against 40. So that's not really his problem. The problem is more the lack of tech that we see for Deer here.
Yeah.
Whereas Apocalypse is now getting his first few medevacs into the picture. He has more and more Marauders that he can use against the Stalkers. And of course, always keep that sim upgrade in mind that he started already.
I find this so interesting. Starting a Void Ray now. Void Ray aren't the most effective units against Marines. They are mostly very good against Marauders and Medivacs. But at this point, Deer feels like he needs any unit he can get right now. His sentry count is at 2. They're just starting to gain energy. And if we just look at how much delay every player has in their tech, we can see Apocalypse's Stimpack is really quite delayed. It's about 4 minutes behind what we would usually see. However, his Medivacs, they're only a minute behind. So he can start using his Medivacs very aggressively. Deer is about 3 minutes late with his Twilight Council and Forge upgrades. So for Deer, he has the biggest average delay of them all. And that means that Apocalypse does have the advantage. If he doesn't use the advantage of the Medivacs well now, there is a chance for Deer to come back into the game, though.
I love how that Void Ray is just waiting for the Medivac there. I highly doubt that he will be able to shut that down, but just the thought alone is already pretty cute. But the Medivac is able to just surpass that Void Ray, doesn't even get into the vision range. Drops now into the mineral line in the main base. Deer, of course, with an immediate reaction, pulling his harvesters away, but still losing a few probes in the process. Actually losing quite a lot here. And now that Void Ray comes in, might just be, oh my god, 3 hit points on the Medivac. He just gets away. Apocalypse unit alive to fight another day.
Wow.
That was a close call.
That was
too
very
close.
Comfort. Yeah, I don't think he should be going back in there anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not with that Medivac. Maybe heal up on that first, but for now it is Dia once again. Just looking at the army supply, we have them on a very similar level, 62 with the 54. It's just the Storm upgrade that's going to finish soon for Dia. With Apocalypse not really having an answer. He's not in a position where he has ghosts just yet. He's trying to come in from the side though and takes down one of the High Templars right away. The Force Field's not doing too much against the Terran player just yet, but we have still the Protoss following through with his army, and there's an Arca now in the mix too. Those Marines have to be really careful and stay away.
Charge upgrade is already finished. The High Templars morph into an Archon there. The Medivac and the Marines from the bottom side, which we said shouldn't go back in there anytime. They tried to provide a distraction, but they did pay for it with their lives. Brave soldiers, sure to be remembered by Manx as one of the most expendable forces that he has ever used against the Protoss. Apocalypse now looking already to start saturating his third base. well ahead of Deer, who's a little over halfway with his third Nexus. Work counts also looking in Apocalypse's favor, but still, Deer is clawing his way back into this game. And if Apocalypse doesn't have a series of good engagements, he might just be looking to see his advantage evaporate completely.
And one of the things that we saw yesterday several times is that Apocalypse is sometimes prone to neglecting certain parts of his army on the map because he's distracted. And if that happens against Dia, it might as well be lights out. Once again, the Medivac's getting sniped here, but we have the Terran player moving into the third base with a stim. That's so much DPS, that Nexus is going to fall. And Dia suddenly down to 2 bases, supply blocked as well, finds himself in a very uncomfortable position.
Yeah, and Apocalypse hightails it out of there. Significant losses in the bottom left, but considering he took down the third Nexus, completely worth it.
Dia, of course, trying to rebuild the Nexus immediately. He's also getting his upgrades out now, starting the +1 attack upgrade now that he's completed with the +2 armor. But we have double upgrades for Apocalypse, and he is already halfway done with both of them. Adding a second starport now that will help him with the Medivac production, and of course always give him this flexibility to go into Vikings if need be, if we see Colossi transition for Dia.
Yeah, very wise preparation, as you well mentioned, Kaldor. I'm thinking, like, if this was any other Protoss, I would say Apocalypse has got this game hands down. But I have so much respect for Deer that I'm thinking, like, yeah, he's winning. He's in a situation from which almost no one could win, but he's going to somehow make it happen. It might be a little overconfident, giving him too much respect, because it's looking phenomenal here for Apocalypse.
Yeah. The thing is just you can never count out Dia. He has shown that several times in the past that he's just one of the best Protoss players in the entire world. And as we said before, his track record against Terran is just absolutely incredible. So if you open yourself up to just one good attack, Dia will use that opportunity, will take your army down and then gain the momentum that he needs to win the game and come back even in a series like this. But as you already said, Apocalypse is far ahead in the game right now. He's about to complete his 2-2 that will give him the edge in the upgrades, and he's also on his way to get another base, still mining from 3 bases, chasing the Zealots away now that they are positioned on the map to have a run by a little bit later down the road. A good storm here, but only good enough to chase Apocalypse away from now, not taking too many units down.
Yeah, I killed about 3-4 units. They were the expeditionary squad, the scouts, so to speak. More Zealots coming in here by Deer, walked all the way across the map. No close proxy pylon to speak of that Apocalypse could hunt down. But his army, his reinforcements are relatively there in place. Marines and a Ghost killing and really preventing any SCVs at all from dying. Apocalypse also is finishing his personal cloaking upgrade for Ghosts, which will help a lot in winning those high Templar versus Ghost engagements.
Especially since we do not have a single observer on the map. There is no detection for Dia at this point.
Exactly.
So against the Ghosts, he can't really do anything. Those Ghosts will get the snipes and the EMPs off, and then Dia will not have those high Templars anymore. And that's of course a big problem for him right now. The Protoss player once again trying to move in with a few stray units, just maybe getting a shot at the income, taking down a few SCVs, or at least trying to, but Apocalypse is pulling so far ahead in overall supply, and even starting 3-3 already.
Yeah, part of these Zealot run-bys aren't cost efficiency, or even a realistic hope that he will kill any number of SCVs. But what he wants is that Apocalypse stays in the defense. He knows that Apocalypse has the better army right now, and he needs more time to develop his infrastructure and tech. The problem is, Apocalypse's bank will grow. He's at already 200 supply, and he is losing Zealots for practically not much. But that was a really nice triple feedback, killing 3 Ghosts instantly, only losing 1 High Templar so far. And there goes the second.
Yeah, loses second one to the snipes. The Protoss player turning around once again. He wants to fight here. A lot of High Templars moving in. EMP hits 2 of them, but they get a storm off before it happens.
Apocalypse has to watch out. He has no more EMPs here. Pretty nice splits. He does lose a fair amount of units there, and I don't see any more High Templars with Storm.
Yeah, at the same time, we don't have Ghosts either, but there are just so many bio units, and they are crushing through this army of Dia. Dia is being forced back. The army supply heavily in Apocalypse's favor right now, nearly doubling his opponent's army supply. He wins that fight without a problem at all, eating the first few storms, but he can easily survive. He's 50 supply ahead in the game, taking that 4th base, and even building now a 5th, taking, of course, once more those units down that Dia sends across the map. And it just looks like Dia is trying so much, but he doesn't find an opening to do real damage.
Yeah, it's been one big uphill battle here from Deer, and it looks like he might not be able to deliver on the front of amazing comebacks just yet here. he is not starting a Colossus switch, and that's going to prove really difficult against maxed out Terran armies without a lot of those AoE forces that Protoss likes to field. Double time warp there, trying to gain position.
The 3-3 on the other hand. +3 attack already completed, +3 armor about to. That will give him a lead in the upgrades again. And wow, Apocalypse is once again close to being maxed out here. Building up the bank that you were talking about earlier, Grubby. Here comes Dia with those High Templars, trying to make the storms work. I'm a little bit surprised that we never really saw that that personal cloaking for the ghosts come into play. Because that would have been so easy for Apocalypse to use, since there are still no observers on the map. Once again, the Protoss player charging in, the Terran hitting that stim button like a boss. There comes the Storm. Great Storm Spite here, doing a lot of damage. And Apocalypse, he's dropping in supply so fast. Dia with another shot at taking this game, warps in another round of units, is trying to force his opponent back. 112 supply against 125. Apocalypse pulling all of his SCV off the mineral and trying to buffer a bit against this army that we see for the Protoss. But the Terran player, he just simply has too much here. There's nothing to buffer for those Immortals anymore.
Yeah, and those units are 3-3. If he hadn't had a significant upgrade lead here, Apocalypse with 3-3 against 2-2, that might have looked a little bit different. Finding himself in a position where he should never even have been in this game, Apocalypse is. Going down that ramp there against the High Templars, which were straggling in there, eating some great storms, Apocalypse was. But the reinforcements, they really were good enough to hold off that army from Deer. Deer almost making it happen, but yeah, Apocalypse will be able to recuperate and lick his wounds there. And once again, assemble a much greater force than Deer is able to, since he doesn't have a fourth. Yeah,
the reinforcements that the Terran player had there, they were really the big problem for Dia, but the storms were really spot on, exactly those storms that he needed there. Once more, Zealots trying to go for a run by a 4th base build for Dia right now as we speak. More Immortals also joining the battle, but at the same time, Apocalypse just doesn't stop with his upgrades. Getting the sensor towers now up so that he has the perfect vision. It's really about those storms once again, and I cannot understand why Apocalypse doesn't use his personal cloaking. Yeah, he had the energy, but he didn't use it.
He probably just forgot that he had it.
I think so too, yeah.
I can't imagine that he said, I don't want to waste my energy on this. I want one more snipe. So now he has the sensor tower. He's starting to develop into a fully fledged late game Terran, which is making use of all the tools that he has. Starting to fly this medevac to see if maybe there's a 4th base there on the right side of the map, but it's the bottom one that Deer took, which I've never seen before, so pretty cool. I'm trying to learn from that.
Yeah, the thing is just like, if Apocalypse messes up once in the game now, once or twice, Deer suddenly is back. He already started to close that gap between the two of them, and he's still behind, don't get me wrong. But the last few fights were pretty good for the Protoss player. Those were great trades that he got there. So Apocalypse might still be ahead, but if another one of those fights happens where he gets the storms in, the Protoss player that is, Apocalypse might very well lose the edge that he has in the game. But it doesn't really look like he's gonna fool around for much longer. He's going down, taking that 4th bay out of the picture, and Dia going for the counter-aggression here, but recalling back now to defend his 3rd base, and that's where Apocalypse positions his entire army. Where are those feedbacks? Oh, we have the storms going down, the EMPs too late, a lot of damage done to this Terran army, another storm hitting home, but it doesn't really look like it's going to be enough. Or will he be able to really crush the town? Oh my god, even more High Templars moving, and another storm! Oh my god, those storms are great! But I don't think it's going to be enough to win in the game.
I feel like Apocalypse is singing, raindrops are falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will be turning red. He still has 150 supply. He just ate all the storms that he could. Will eat some more storms here with the SCVs. A little bit lacking in his reaction timing, but he just has too much stuff. His mining, his production, it's all too much. And even though Deer is playing a fantastic game here from behind, it looks like Apocalypse will indeed stay in this game here.
Apocalypse in the game so far, killed 26 Harvesters. Deer killed 46, a lot more than his opponent. SCV starting to kill a High Templar. And I think I've never seen this before.
A Terran dream.
Yeah, a Terran dream for sure. Putting the High Templar into a corner, and then the SCVs finally take him out. Took them quite some time, but still.
It's the only way to hit back bullies, to make them stop.
50 supply ahead right now for Apocalypse. He is really trying to prevent a 4th base from going up, and he's so far doing a great job. Dia, as you said, he was doing everything that he could to stay in this game, but it doesn't really look like he has a chance to make an actual comeback happen.
And now the final attack from Deer, the last-ditch effort as his economy is running dry here. EMPs on the High Templars. One more storm will be eaten by Apocalypse. It was tasty. And now his army will clean up the dregs of Deer's army. GG! And the equalizer, 1-1 between Apocalypse and Deer.
Apocalypse with a smile on the face there. He knows that this was a little bit harder than it should have been, but he's able to win the game after all.